Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Age of Fid 2. What I'm about to do is I'm about to finish off the Orc campaign, showing you the alternative ending. There's a couple of interesting little bits and pieces if we do a bit differently that I've been told, so I'm just going to show it off. The way we do this is by losing this particular fight. Now, on a side note, I have mentioned to developers that this fight was a bit underwhelming in some ways, considering it was supposed to be like the final mission. So the developers have decided to alter it somewhat. It will take a little bit of time to do, because obviously it will require them to put in a lot of extra assets, so it won't happen right away. But I have been politely, and I have been not politely, I say I have been informed that you guys will like the finished result of the alterations. Now, I'm at this point in time, I am throwing my own goblin sappers at my boss to kill him, just because I wanted to show you the nice nifty little alternative ending that you can have. Now, on the topic of like if I enjoyed, so I've been asked like, did I enjoy the Orc campaign? The Orc campaign, it's not a bad campaign. It's very straightforward. It's very orky in some ways. Orcs don't tend to have lots of sneakiness to them. There isn't a lot of like political intrigue and stuff with orcs, no matter what setting you play in, unless you're playing in like really traditional D&D. But even then, the orcs are very brutish. But yeah, I enjoyed the Orc campaign. It was very straightforward. It was nice. I always prefer playing, when I'm playing the Age of Fear franchise, I always prefer to play the straightforward campaign first, then play the more exotic campaign second, because it allows me to get into the rhythm of that particular game. Just gonna blow him off some more. It's a testament to just how tough I made Catsog, that he took like 4 turns of being attacked by the entire enemy team, and me doing absolutely nothing, for them to actually finally kill him, which is just a tantamount to how massively powerful I'd made him. I was also told the reason that we didn't get the War Ogre in the campaign was because I didn't assault the castle. I didn't assault the castle with Catsog, and I didn't chase the enemies down into the dungeons of the castle as a result, which was something that you could do. I didn't realise that. I suppose it's good because it allows you to have like a lot of replayability in some ways. As always, I apologise for the flickeriness of the images. Here we go, we lost. Good. But the developers are fixing it, they have said.
Catsog hit the ground. He was bloody and beaten, but still alive. The knights had been more formidable than they looked. Equally as bloody and beaten, the mass of humans hobbled down the mountain in a broken line. "You've been useful, Orc," leered the human in charge, "so we'll let you live. This time." The humans were being stupid. Leaving him alive was a huge mistake. It was almost as if the fools were begging Catsog to kill them. Catsog's sheer rage at his humiliation was interrupted by the wailing scream of an injured goblin. The goblin was waving explosives crazily in the air as it charged blindly towards the retreating knights. Preparing to receive a blow, the humans readied their swords and shields. The goblin didn't stop running, and screaming all the while, threw himself face first into the small crowd of soldiers. And boom! Flying backwards, Catsog was caught off guard. Singed blood and bone from the goblin and the humans littered the earth around. The remains gave Catsog a sinister idea. "More goblins go boom! Kill humans!" The goblin stood staring at him as if in disbelief that he would demand such a thing. "Goblin make boom, or Catsog eat goblin! Kill human! Stupid human no deserve live," bellowed Catsog, grabbing the nearest goblin and throwing it at the retreating army of humans. Beware, orcs and humans alike, of nuclear goblin sappers. Trademark.
This is a bit of like a bonus mission. To be honest, it's actually it's actually surprisingly tough to win this mission, just because how it's set up. We got goblin nuclear sappers, really powerful. Suicide goblins, beware the nuclear goblin sapper. Trademark. The reason I say that it's actually relatively hard to win this scenario with just the goblin sappers is the fact is that the nuclear goblin sappers movement is the same as the normal goblins. Actually, it might have slightly wider. No, they have exactly the same. So it means that you have to end up having your people run for cover all the time, because otherwise they get caught in the blast radius, which sucks.
Interesting.
In hindsight, I should have probably moved that goblin slightly forward to the left, the one I moved back. Yeah, him. Just so he could have charged in the confusion. But the thing is, they have this battle has like a lot of support units, so we wipe out like 6 of them in one go. We break a couple of units, but even so, this scenario is actually surprisingly hard to win, just because of how it's set up. Because you end up having to pull your units back to not get them caught in the blast radius.
Yes.
Plus, you can't give them potions or anything, so they actually. I would have I don't know. Maybe they should have the nuclear sappers should have had swiftness potions or something, just to give them a bit more range, so you don't have to constantly juggle your own sappers not to get caught in the blast so much. I'm not overly worried. I mean, I killed a fair few number of them. I doubt that the ending will be changed. In my experience of this game, you get alternative missions, but the end game ending doesn't really change. So, well, you'll see what happens in this one for yourself. This is the issue that I have, is that because you don't have the swiftness potion for the sappers, it's really, really hard to actually get within range.
Interesting.
As you can see, if we just had a little bit more movement, we would be able to get a lot closer and done a lot more damage. I mean, it is one of the natural fault. It's not a fault of the goblin per se, but it is one of their weaknesses. Their lack of if you don't, it was one of the things I found while playing the orcs, which is that if you don't give them swiftness potions, they are extremely vulnerable to getting sniped by enemy range units, especially if you have stuff like fire archers. I mean, if you're playing the humans and you get to the point in the campaign where their sappers start turning up, you pretty much need to have a fire archer on hand constantly, just so you can take care of them. The reason I moved that particular goblin sapper there, by the way, was that he was still in range of the normal archer, but the normal archer can't kill him in one shot. So my plan was to eat a shot from that archer and then charge in. Yeah, to be honest, it's pretty hard for me to actually win at this point with this particular setup that they've given me, just because of the way that movement works. Just don't manage to kill off that archer. It would have been good if I had. I mean, the problem is that the problem I had was that I needed to really kill the ballisticas with my nuclear units, with my nuclear sappers, so that I could have got the rest of my people into relatively close range. Because he is going to kill someone. One shot with that and he hits and he kills one of these guys. Because I don't really suffer from morale penalties, I don't think. Get close enough. Problem is, if we don't detonate him now, he will lose him, which would be a waste. So kill that guy off. I mean, yeah, it's, you can see what I meant about, you can see what I mean about this scenario, is that because we have the nuclear sappers that are like right next to our own people, we end up having to juggle our own line backwards, which is really annoying because it means that we end up eating a whole load of enemy range units early on. I suppose we could have charged in sooner with the normal sappers, but it's just how it is. Yeah, we lost a scenario, but I doubt it would have it doesn't affect the actual ending of the game.
After years of
Because
war
you see,
and
we
conquest,
get exactly the same ending again.
Katsok, Dragon Killer, soon defeated the rival clans. As the years passed, chieftain after chieftain fell at his feet, as Katsok took their clans as his own. Orcs from those clans easily forgot of Katsok's amazing deeds, as well as the challenges he had faced in fighting for a clan that was rightfully his. Many of those warriors challenged Katsok for his place as chieftain, but every orc that came before him felt the bite of his great axe. Eventually, Katsok's great clan became known as the Greenskin Horde, and they were feared by all who knew the name. Not even the human kingdom had the strength to oppose them, as Katsok and his horde killed, burned, and looted everything in their path. There was no place the humans were truly safe from Katsok's wrath and aspirations. The only human structures that stood a chance to withstand the Greenskin Horde were the great and near impenetrable castles, structures that stood tall and strong. They were prepared for Katsok, and taking them would not be easy. But that is a story for another day.
And that's the Orc campaign in its fullest completed. There was a couple of bits I did. The thing is, the way the game works with its branching options is that I'd had to have another playthrough to show you off everything. But what we do is now jump into the Demoness campaign. I've been looking forward to this one a lot.
What? You want me to be your arena champion? For the arena with the hottest fires in the deepest pits of hell.
Belkara's words trailed off as her fury grew. Most demons know better than to anger a succubus, but Zarya Khan didn't seem to be afraid. If looks could kill, Zarya Khan would have been reduced to ashes with Belkara's fiery glare.
Have the dark fires from the void completely destroyed your idiotic mind? You are telling me to represent your lazy ass in the arena?
Zarya Khan had a powerful status within the underworld, but everything else about him was certainly past its prime. He was fat, lazy, and not so perceptive. However, the fact remained that he was still a fiend from the top tier of the hellish hierarchy. He towered over Belkara and bellowed down at her.
Silence, succubus. I am your blood lord. You will do as I wish. I rule your pathetic existence. Defy me, and I will throw you into the void myself.
She looked him in the eye with confidence as she replied,
You fat old moron. Even starving zombies would reject your brain. Just because I have serviced you in your chamber, that does not mean I will blindly follow your orders.
After a brief pause, Belkara continued,
If you feel insulted, then fight for your own honor. Or are you too afraid of losing your fat, sorry ass to the void? Even in your chambers, you were a pathetic, lazy slug. How about a real fight? I challenge you to the arena.
Zarya Khan opened his claws and swiped at Belkara. Evidently, her words had cut a little too deeply, but Belkara stood her ground. Regaining his composure, the fiend held back from slashing her and bellowed at her instead.
Your insults anger me, succubus. I accept your challenge. Prepare to be ripped apart, weakling.
Before he could attack her, a voice like thunder crackled into the arena.
Stop, Yakon!
There were several demonic creatures nearby, and they all turned their eyes to the huge demon the voice had emanated from. A huge fiend from the crowd stood up.
What do you want, Astaroth?
Hissed Yakon.
I am her bloodlord, and I can rip her open and send her straight to the void at any time. It is my right.
No, you cannot. She has challenged you to the arena, and by our laws, you must fight her. But only in the arena.
She is mine. I shall crush her,
grunted Yakon. Do you mean to accept her challenge then, Yakon? The Conclave wrote the law, and I shall enforce it. There is only one alternative to this law, and I suspect you would not fancy that, seeing as it is a bloody war in hell. Astaroth towered over Zaryakon's flabby figure. Astaroth was one of the oldest and most powerful demon fiends. Rumor had it that he had been offered a spot in the Conclave, but that he had turned it down. Chastised, but still clearly upset, Zaryakon spoke.
I obey the law, Astaroth.
Turning his eyes from Zaryakon to Belkara, Astaroth spoke again.
And you, succubus, I do not know what you plan, but the Conclave will not like it. Lesser demons should not challenge their masters.
Belkara, who had stood seemingly unaffected by the situation, met Astaroth's formidable gaze and replied,
I follow the letter of the law, Demon Lord. It is my right to challenge my bloodlord.
It is your right. Whether or not it is a wise choice to do so, we shall see. Prepare yourselves for the arena.
Here we go, folks. Welcome to Age of 2, the Chaos Lords. We'll do the tutorial just because I find it's a nice little intro to the characters.
In reality, the underworld was usually quite boring. The demons had been ruled by the Conclave's laws for thousands of years. They obeyed the laws for the most part, because they understood that the laws were the only thing that kept them from fighting each other in a bloody, hellish war. But these laws did not keep them from attempting to humiliate each other with all sorts of theatrical stunts and foolish pretenses. They also battled in arena combat. Those fights were one of the few remaining sanctioned amusements. Since demons could not truly die, not physically at least, the only punishment that held any fear for them was being banished to the void. The void was the dark, empty space between realms. Those immortal beings banished there spent eternity going insane, as that nothingness was worse, far worse than death. The void is the fate for those who lose in arena combat, and is a fate all demons fear. Zaryakon and Belkara arrived at opposite ends of the arena at roughly the same time.
You may both enter the arena,
Astaroth announced in his thunderous voice. Zaryakon assumed that his far greater bulk and his status in the demonic hierarchy assured him victory, and he bellowed at Belkara as he rushed in.
I shall savor this, succubus. Prepare to spend eternity in the void.
Declaring this, he rushed directly towards Belkara, not noticing how she stood there, stoic and merely speaking.
Exosasamis, te yakon azasi, dragusam, omnis, immundus, spiritus omnis Satanica protestas.
By the time Zaryakan became concerned by her actions, it was too late. He began to speak, merely uttering,
What?
before realizing that something was seriously wrong. He was paralyzed in the middle of the arena. Belkara stood her ground and admired her handiwork.
I have known your name for hundreds of years, you foolish fiend. How does it feel, Zaryakan, to be utterly helpless before your inferior? Now I shall have the pleasure of ripping that wheezing old thing you call a heart right out of your chest.
And this is going to be interesting. I do like how the little hand cursor changes. You regret this day, wicked succubus, fool of you, challenge me. Says the incantation, what have you done, you little bit to my body, I can't move. Come on, you're gone. Are you so fat ass over to obey you? What's wrong? Can't open your ugly mouth? Never again will you lay your dirty hands upon me. He's one of a kind succubus, far strong in melee combat and even capable of basic magic. Later in the game, so he will be evolved into a powerful magic user. So we've got imps and XP stealers on their side. We've got Firebolt, we have Demonic Realm, which is 8 mana HP plus turn for demon creatures, and a couple of other things. We've got Firebolt, not much range to it, and Holy Strength, which will increase which is basically a unit buff spell. We've got Berserkers. We have these guys before. Berserkers are relatively straightforward to use. In comes the XP stealers and the imps. Only demons are affected by it, so only demonic units. Send out a blast of energy, pop one of these guys, break one of their bones, and then we'll charge in and give a good whack.
Of course. To battle.
Move the other one there.
Exactly.
With units that have multiple attacks, it's really important. That's the thing I always find annoying. I don't know what it is, but the problem I have is that if they break on the turn that you attack, you don't get your extra attack, which seems a bit unfair. I don't know what to do. Maybe they should break at the start of their turn or something. But I think it'd probably be too much of an encoding problem now to fix. You just have to be careful of what you do. It's one of these things with this game. You just have to be careful of what you do. The enemies aren't particularly tough. This is basically like a training scenario, so the enemies are fairly underpowered.
Oh, yeah.
Missed at 70%. Yep. Give a boost to my melee user, one of my melee users for combat purposes. Give him unholy strength, so we had a higher chance to hit. Enjoying this, you old prick. Bring your death makes me feel so alive. Yeah. The problem is doing something like this, like in game. Oh, he gagged at his eye. In game, in like logistical reasons, you probably wouldn't want to do this as a demon, because yeah, you kill the bloke and he's like a demon that no one likes, but he's still representing the government. So it's actually a pretty big insult to the conclave to do something like this. Ugh. That fat ass is finally dead. Now I need to escape this arena.
The Conclave's laws ruled the arena. Though the laws allowed for any tactic to defeat an opponent, it did not mean that the Conclave liked it. Zaryakan was banished to the Void. However, Belkara had precious little time to revel in her victory. The Conclave was angry. Very, very angry. For a mere succubus to defeat an older demon. For a mere succubus to defeat an elder demon was dangerous. It exposed a weakness in the old hellish hierarchy. In fact, demons were not infallible and invincible, no matter how much they tried to convince others of this. The Conclave decided at a secret meeting to take care of Belcara. And by take care of her, they meant to make harsh example of her. Their brutality and swiftness in punishing her would make other lesser fiends and demons think long before challenging an elder demon to the arena. Treachery was rampant in the underworld. Her spies reported to her about the Conclave's resolution within a few hours after this secret meeting. She knew that even though she had defeated an elder demon, a lazy and stupid demon at that she had no hope of standing against the Conclave. The elder demons would find a way to legitimately throw her into the void. That was a certainty. She had but one hope of survival. Although she didn't really savor the idea of living without the companionship of other demons, she knew it was better than an eternity in the void. She must escape to the human realm. She was a succubus, so she did not need to be summoned, nor did she need magic to exist there. And it had the potential for much more amusement than the underworld. There are only a few portals to the human realm scattered about the underworld. All of these are guarded by powerful portal guardians and their slaves. She would have to find a way to get around this obstacle and to get to the human realm. Yet, another problem she faced was the Conclave spies. She knew that she was being watched. She also knew that the elder demons would not let her near any form of escape. There was one portal in the center of the underworld, in the Tower of the Void. Elder demons would probably never think of anyone daring to assault this place. None of them would come near to the Void. Even the tower's guardians were constructs created specifically for this task. There was an alternative route in the tunnels that had been dug by ancient beasts that traversed much of the underworld. If she could access these without being seen right away, she could stealthily make her way to one of the remote portals. She knew that she had to act quickly. She only had time to grab the one thing that meant most to her. The nesting dolls her mother had given her when she was little, and had been her good luck charm ever since. Now it was time to leave hell behind her. So she gathered all of her slaves that night. And set out.
Hard choice indeed. So what shall we do? Sneak into the Tower of the Void, access the underground tunnels. Hard choice. I mean, a frontal assault on the tower is probably quite a good strategy, but we don't know what the Guardians are. So I'm probably, special constructs means probably golems of some kind, which is going to suck. I'm probably going to go with access the underground tunnels and try and sneak out one of the other side gateways. If we time it just right, we should be okay.
Not even the eldest of the demons could tell what kind of creatures had dug the tunnels through the underworld's rock. The shape of the tunnels suggested that whatever these creatures were, they were worm-like, and had the ability to split through hard rock as easily as a knife through butter. Demons never bothered themselves with the tunnels, though, as a form of punishment, they often used slaves to exterminate the creatures who frequented them. Demons loved to punish their inferiors for all sorts of crimes, both real and imagined. Belcara and her group traveled for a while, only occasionally meeting slimes or spiders native to the tunnels. She knew the tunnels well, as Zaryakan had frequently sent her and his other servants there. One of her scouts, a small demon, spoke softly in his squeaky voice.
"Goblins, my lady. I can smell them. And some other green things, too."
Belcara was unable to smell the creatures he spoke of, but she knew her demon scouts had much better smelling capability than she. "Stop!" she ordered her party. Best to stand their ground and let the others approach them.
So our first mission. Goblins, I'd forgotten about them. Dear mistress, me good, me clean tennis, don't eat me. Well, if you're lucky, the slimes and spiders will do the dirty work. Battle starts with deployment. Yeah, we know this before. So a bunch of goblins, some slimes, and a couple of giant spiders. Nothing too bad. We're going to probably end the video here, and we'll pick up next time. This is the demon campaign, which is very nice to look at. I'm just going to make a separate save file for this, just so we don't have any problems. And as always, if you have enjoyed, please press the like button, and if you wish to watch more, please press the subscription button. You can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Steam, you can leave a comment in the comment section, I'll get back in contact with you. If you're liking this game, check out my other Age of Fear series, and I shall see you all next time. Goodbye.